where you step. Because if you fall and know that gravity exists, it's not gravity that is at fault. It's you, because you're not reaching it. I don't believe in spirits, because I don't see them. Well, how do you know there is air in this room? Have you seen air before? No. Have you seen germs? And scientists say this air has germs in it. Have you seen them? Unless you're a scientist and you have a microscope. I've seen bacteria, Vanessa, because I have a microscope, I work in science. But people talk about bacteria, their viruses. Oh yeah, I believe it. And you've never seen it. But people said, scientists, they said, they proved it exists. Well, mediums have a microscope as well. And they see spirits. They feel them. They interact with them very extensively. And they say we better watch out because they exist. Watch out in the sense that we are going to connect to them no matter what. You see this guy here? He has a network with him of minds. He's feeling and thinking. And as he's feeling and thinking, he is making connections, invisible connections. Think about it. You have a cell phone. And you connect with the world. Cell phone. Your cell phone is not powerful as your brain. Beautiful machine. And with this, we connect. There is a Brazilian neuroscientist, Nicolelis, from Duke University. He is opening new venues of recovery for people by showing that in primates that our brain can make something move without a physical connection, wirelessly. And we're like, oh, really? Well, the cell phone is not even a tenth of your nervous system. And it makes wireless connections. Is that why we pray? Yes. Because when we pray, we are logging in the account of the superior spirits. And then some people, I've noticed, they come and say, oh, it's been such a long time without praying that when I pray, I feel so overwhelmed because so many things come to my mind because it's been a long time without opening the inbox of your account. And it's that feeling like you go there and it's like, oh my God, so many messages. The leaders have been sending. And you're like, they don't send me any messages. But have you logged in? So when you pray, when we pray, we're logging in. You're like, wow, beautiful messages, beautiful recipes, a lot of information there. Ooh, connected. We're connected with the world of the good spirits. And that's what happens. What we're thinking and feeling is opening these doors of communication. He's saying here is this omnipresent platform. So today and tomorrow and the days after, when we wake up, we go to the wardrobe and think, what am I going to dress? We should also ask ourselves, what am I going to dress vibratorily speaking with my feelings and thoughts? Because if I leave the door of my home, I turn on the car and feel, oh my God, my bills, my boss, my children, my husband, my wife, and then boom, an accident, and we're like, you see, the day just started very bad, and we blame the world. But our omnipresent platform there, the costume, was already filled with a lot of accidents that we were creating. We were creating them, generating that vibration of anxiety, worry, no faith, no God presence in our lives. And then we connected. person when we got into network, it's likely we were on the same page, feeling-wise. I don't know if there is that type of research already there, but according to the science of the spirits, Spiritism, we can tell and predict that those who get in an accident, they will probably the same frequency. Thoughts and feelings were aligned, because it's not by chance. Somebody who's very closely and centered is not going to get into an accident. We cannot blame somebody else for it. We encountered that moment. Just like this guy. He's connected as he's feeling and thinking. He's connected. A network. You have your network in your cell phone. You have your network of contacts here. Who is in your network? It depends on our feelings. Do we want a better network? Do we want to network? People nowadays in businesses talk about networking. It's so important to network, to go to the next level of our careers. And here they're saying the best way to boost our network, spiritually speaking, is to observe our feelings. Self-knowledge. That's why we're here. Because as we're knowing of it, we're empowering ourselves. When we leave these doors, we're not ignorant anymore in regard to how much these teachings that the spirits are sharing with us can create a new moment in our lives. It's so deep that it opens a new door of opportunity for us. Life can be truly shifted. No matter if we're immigrants or not, after all, we were born here, probably reborn from another location of previous life. Maybe we were born elsewhere, and in a previous life, we were Canadians. Who knows? Nationality is not limiting. We're beyond it. So in that regard, this sixth sense of ours can be expanded. Some people ask when they come to the Spirit side of Baltimore or the Spiritist side of Virginia. Nowadays we have Kardec Radio as well, and the Spiritist magazine. People email us and ask, how can I develop my mediumship? Observe feelings. Because wherever we are here, it begins within. It doesn't begin elsewhere. Reading these books are going to inspire us to this inner journey. It begins there, because when we talk about the sixth sense, we're talking about how this communication happens. Here we are. This is who we are in a diagram. Okay? We are spirits, so good news, you're not seated where your body is. Do you believe it? Yes. You're not. Your body is seated there, but you're not in this dimension, the physical dimension. You like 3D movies? We are in another type of 3D. Meaning, we spirits are in a dimension that is spiritual. And then we are connected to this body. Through a spiritual body. We have a spiritual body. We call it perispirit because it envelops the spirit. But we're not here inside of this body. Thank God we're not. We are imperishable. The body is recyclable. But the spirit is not. In the sense of it doesn't perish. Transforms itself, but it doesn't go away. And when we are communicating with others in the discarnate life, we then communicate with those who are here as well. But if you're not medium, you cannot see. And not necessarily they are seated on your lap or on the empty chairs. They're in another dimension. in a much bigger space than the one we're seeing here in the physical realm. They don't have a physical body. And we communicate with them. Because by principle, we are communicating thoughts and feelings through vibrations. Look at your cell phone. Can you see when somebody calls a line, a vibration coming in? You don't, right? Do you? The same happens with us. We are communicating here with other minds without noticing, and they don't have a physical body, but we communicate. Whatever we are thinking, we connect with those that are alike. That's the principle. It's a law of the mental field, said by Lewis in the book Mechanisms of Mediumship. And when that happens, our spiritual body is the master and commander. Commands all the nervous activities of the physical body in that regard. That's when people say, oh, I got to that place and I start feeling this headache. This is not a creation of your mind. Oh, I got to that place and it just gave me a boost. I don't know what it was, right? Where does that come from? Or somebody feels like they're home and then suddenly they feel like, oh, I'm going to turn on the TV, and then suddenly you see something beautiful showing on the screen and it boosts our mood. Are we alone there? That's why we read those books. Emmanuel said, Chico, discipline, discipline, discipline. He disciplines. Can you imagine somebody with a fourth grade, born in a small city in the countryside of the state of Minas Gerais, Brazil, and being the channel of 400 plus books? And these are not like children's books, though they are not easy either, but we're saying they are of a diverse nature, different styles, different spirits, different information. How can that be possible? But he was different. Because Emmanuel said, every lunch time, you're going to spend 30 minutes psychography. Instead of being there chit-chatting with your colleagues at work, you go to that room in the farm he used to work and pray, and I'm going to write for you. And he did. Look at the book Paul and Stephen. It's the byproduct of months of work that was done 30 minutes a day without missing one day. A lot of emotions, of emotional centeredness. You go to work, I go to work. You cannot predict things that happen at work. Sometimes we are at work, and what happens? The boss screams at you. You don't like it. Let's say your mentor told you, no matter what happens, every day you need to be there seated in that special room psychography. What do you do with the emotions that were created by that encounter with your boss? You say, man, not today because I'm so angry. Oh, but Vanessa, he's Chico Xavier. Really? Huh. A story about how human he was, just like us. He had a dog. He loved dogs. He had one that was old and sick. And what did he do? He was very busy. The dog was there, well taken care of. But you know, the dog was old, was sick. Chico Xavier had a neighbor. And that old lady, she loved Chico Xavier, but she didn't like the dog. She didn't like it to the point she was so angry with the dog because she felt Chico's so busy, he's so kind, he's so adorable. What is it? This thought